Ain't summer great? Uh, winter great. Go to work in the dark, come home in the dark. And talk a little bit about what I'm going to do here. This paint is pretty fresh yet, so I'm really not going to lay any tape on it until about Wednesday. But I do need to do a few things. I need to get the pens ready. I'm going to talk about that. Uh-oh. Looks like I might have left that. I got two sets of these. I hope I got the. Let's see, did I leave this in here? Man, I hope not. You're going to need some rapidographs for inking. Yep, locked up. So, no, it's not. I didn't leave the ink in it. I got another set up here. Shoot. I got a couple of sets of these rapidograph pens. They're very expensive. They're like $25 a piece. Let's see, the pens. Yep. Okay. That's how you tell whether it's good or not. There's a piston inside there, inside this inkwell. That if it rattles, it's clean. If it don't, it's no good. So this is a number 2.2/60. This is the pen I mostly use for these. It's rather fine, but it puts out a decent line. So you're going to need, these are Kolinor ink pens. Now, Stedliner makes some throwaway pens that will work. I'm just old school. I like the drafting pens. Let's see here, we're going to get this up here. I like the drafting pens. You're going to need 3085F Ultra Draw ink for film, paper and film. You can get that on Amazon. You can buy these on eBay, but be very careful, because most of the time when you buy these pens, buy a set of pens like this will run you about $125. And if you buy them on eBay, most of the time when you buy them, they haven't been cleaned out and they're junk. You just throw them out. So we're going to use these. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to close. I've got the wheel over here. Now, just because they're clogged doesn't mean they're not salvageable. You can put them in an ultrasonic and soak them, like that one pen that I have there that's clogged, even though it's cleaned out. That ink dries in there and that piston won't move. How do you refill a throwaway pen? You're also going to need a good cork back ruler. This is a stainless steel cork back ruler. And we're going to take a piece of 600 and sand the edge of this ruler. You want this absolutely perfectly smooth. That through there. Okay, well, I'm going to take 600 sandpaper and polish the edge of this ruler, because any imperfection on this ruler will show up in the line. So I ordered tonight another 12 rolls of masking tape, the good stuff, the 3M Auto tape. I got my year's worth of enjoyment, I'll show you that in a second, today. Before the price went up. I'm telling you guys, if you're going to order anything, you better get at it now, because the prices are getting ready to skyrocket. If you can still get it, even. Before I came on, I was searching for some drafting templates for some oval circles that I can use for the latches on the cowl of this, but I couldn't find them. So I got to make sure not to. Oh, I got it off. Good. There's a little bit of glue on the end of that. Yeah. I use the red pen mostly. Okay. So I got this smooth. Today, remember you guys, I'm still looking for 2 1.25" half-A spinners, preferably Froome or Vico or something like that, but if not, plastic ones. I got the hinges in for the half-A airplanes. These are baby little hinges. For you half-A guys, do you think that 2 hinges on each flap and 2 hinges on each elevator is good enough? That's 8 hinges instead of 3 and 4 or whatever. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Okay guys, remember I told you the other night I was going to order this stuff. This is the year supply of 320. I'll go through that in about a year. And a year supply of 180. I'll give you the part numbers so if you're looking for them. This is the 180 stuff. That's what I use. Part number on this is a 3M part number. 01682 for the, I think it was 320 that was in that. Let's see here. And 01685. You get 25 yards on each roll. 25 on that roll, so that's probably 180. And fortunately, the bag's ripped up here. Yeah, 25 yards on that too. So it doesn't say which one's which. Should have looked at it before I took it out. Oh well. But you can find that on Amazon. From China, huh? If I get a link for me, show me where to get them, send them to me on Stun Hanger, and I'll order them. All right, so I got that. I'm going to need to retape my canopy. Fortunately for me, oh, Jim's on here. Jim, what color did you paint your canopy? Yellow or red? Fortunately for me, I have a sign plotter. So all these panes, and I was smart enough to save the file. All these panes can be retaped relatively easily. Except for the front ones, and I got a plan for that. So let's see here. We need this one here first. Now I know some guys will say, well, you shouldn't have took it off. Well, if you leave this on, it will become glued to the canopy and you'll never get it off. Don't leave it on for more than a couple of days, week tops. So Frank doing something on his P-40E. Not exactly how I do things, but to each his own. And this stuff is hard to get out of there. This is not going to be much of a finishing video tonight because I'll get the tape tomorrow. And we'll start taping. I got a feeling that's going to leave an edge there. I have to outline it in black. You know what? I think I changed my mind on this. I think I'm going to take this back off. We'll do this closer to Saturday. Closer to Saturday. That way I don't risk the chance of it sticking on there. Therefore, your canopy frame is yellow. P-47, black and yellow checks on the cowl, black and yellow checks on the rudder, yellow horizontal tips on stab and vertical fin, therefore. So, I'm going to have that yellow lightning bolt going down the side. I guess it look all right, yellow. I don't know. I need to block sand this off. You know what? I might paint it black. I don't know. I've been looking for all kind of pictures on the internet for these airplanes, and they're all green. About 90% of them are green. There's a few gray ones or silver ones. But this was the Army Air Corps, so pre-Air Force. I got 2 sets on this stencil anyway. There's one there. So we'll work on that later. This paint is just too fresh for me to really ink on or tape on or whatever, so I wasn't going to come on tonight even, but I figured I owe you guys, let you know what I'm doing. So I'll spend a half an hour on tonight, about 10, 11 more minutes, because I don't have a whole lot that I can offer you, and no sense in wasting your time when you could be doing like other things, TikTok and Facebook and all that other nonsense. And we'll start, when I get the tape tomorrow, we'll start taping it out. Now, I'm not sure I want to do the tape, but I want to do some of the paint lines first and then ink, like inking last or whatever. But I did want to show you what I'm going to use. There are some. Or sanding. No, there's no sanding now. Sanding is over. Thank you, Rico. Sanding is over until clear goes on. This has 2 coats of clear on it. But the coats of clear on this are so thin that if I were to sand this, it would sand through just like that. I could fly this right now and be within my target weight, but I can't let it slide. I gotta get trim on it. And I'm thinking about just drawing on this thing here. I need to make a drop tank for it, mount it on the cow. Not necessarily fly with it, but so we got a tip. And a center. The current weight is 63 ounces. We ain't gonna make it. That's one line there. Then there's actually I like this layout better than my original Thunderbolt. Then there's a line here. And there's I need a line in the center. And it stops right there. I'm just getting kind of an idea of how I want to ink this. Then there's that ain't right. That's pretty close. And we'll get the measurements. Yeah, no doubt. Then there's what? Then there's a line here. And a line there. I'm just eyeballing them to see how they're going to lay out. So then a line there, line there, a line there, and then down this way with the door forward. Just think if I decide to put all those little rivets on there. Let me ask you this, Jim. Have you ever... Okay, so what did the finish weigh? Have you ever used a pounce wheel and lamp black to simulate rivets? I've got two different wheels here. I got a wheel like so and a wheel like so. And if I wanted to do all these rivets on this thing, I could pounce a pattern, or stipple a pattern, lay it up there where it's supposed to go, then pounce it with some lamp black, and that would lay the rivets on there. What do you think? Do you think that would work? Yeah, it's gonna lay out better because I use this wing instead of that geobolt wing. This is gonna lay out better than the geobolt wing as far as scale. Like if you look at the ailerons here, they taper way forward. Now I'm having to cheat it. Maybe not. Maybe I could come down a little bit this way. So there's two lines. It's going to be something for me to figure out. And this is different than I had it on my Thunderbolt because I didn't have the correct panel lines when I did my 07 Thunderbolt. And it's just a representation. It's not going to be 100% scale, but it would be nice to make it close. So we got two angles there, and they're pretty good angles. The bottom is the same, plus they have the Zeus fasteners on them. Yeah, I want to know what... I'll call you after the show, Jim. We'll talk about your paint job. Yeah, I think this is going to work fine. I'm just kind of stuck because I can't paint in here. That's all right. No problem, Mike. Let's see. We're up to a half an hour. Half an hour with no progress. So I think what I'm going to do is I just wanted to let you guys know what I'm doing, that I'm not dead and I'm still thinking of you. We will start doing something probably tomorrow. Like I say, this paint is pretty fresh. I don't want to lay any big masking tape down on it and start pulling it up. Of course, I don't have the pull-up problem that some guys do. If you're having tape pull-up problems, you ain't using enough thinner. Now that wheel, I wouldn't do it on the airplane. I would do it on a paper pattern and then pounce through the paper pattern. No way would I run that wheel on my airplane. No way. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this evening. I'm going to give Jim a call and talk about a few things. Look for tomorrow night. We might add stencils. They can be on there for a couple of days. See as it goes on this one left. Oh, this one is the trash one. I had to redraw all those rondelles. I mentioned that the other night. The rondelle is that big, so it'll go right there, probably. I'll use the bounding box in parallel with the trailing edge so it's on square, because boy, wouldn't that look funny if it was on like that. But I got to get these done before I can ink anyway. I didn't get any paper. Double zero pen, huh? Let's see. The double zero. The double zero 0030 thousandths is the yellow. Man, that is a small tip. That might be good for Zeus fasteners, but I don't know whether you saw Billy's airplane in 04, but he must have had a gazillion hours of rivets on that thing. See, this is a 380. That's a big one. Jim uses the number 1. I use the number 2. This is a 150. Let's see what size this is. That's very small. We might go that small. You know, you want to change up the lines of your airplane too. You don't want to do them all on the same line. Like on the on this wing fairing that's on the stupid thing, I'm not going to ink that on. It's going to get painted on, because there's absolutely no way to take this pen and ink and get it to look right. So I paint them on. It'll come from way back there all the way around this way and then down like so. And I'll use that 16th inch tape that I got there to tape it out. And the center one right here that goes up against it, which will be a half inch away, that the separators go in, I'll use a thicker pen. I won't use a 3.0, maybe a 3 or a 4. Let's see what the 4 looks like. No, that's too big. That's too big. Maybe a 3. So you want to vary your ink lines for different things. This is pretty fine here. This is a 30125. The pen that I mostly use is a number 2 60 thousandths. This is the one that gives the best line, I think. But we're going to try the number 1 that Jim uses too. But I'm not going to get to inking for a while, but I wanted to explain, because there was a thread on Stunt Hanger about ink pens, what to use. I use the Kolinor Rapidiograph pens. You can get them on eBay. They're pricey. You can get them on Amazon. They're pricey. They don't use them anymore in drafting. It's all went to CAD, which I do have CAD now, but I still haven't figured out how to use it. Not enough time in a day to learn all this stuff. Anyway, that is going to do it for me this evening. I'll be back tomorrow evening. We'll have a better program figured out what I'm going to do. I didn't want to do too much because this thing is still pretty soft. You can feel it. It's pretty soft. So the next sanding on this will be after another 2 coats of clear, and then I'll lightly sand it and put the final flow coat on it, if I have any left. I have about that much left in my allotted quart. About another 3/4 to an ounce of paint on the airplane left. We ain't making 64. It'll be 65, 66. But that's the way it goes. Unless a miracle happens and it balances and I can use a lightweight tank and a lightweight prop spinner. Never know. There's too many heavy fixed weights on this thing. The engine, the pilot, the spinner, the pipe, the header. All that shit weighs 22 ounces. That's just the way it is. And that doesn't include the pilot. So it's about 23 ounces in fixed weight. Wheels, no, that ain't right either. About 24 ounces in fixed weight. So if this airplane is 60, that means that the airplane weighs 40 ounces less the hardware. That's the way it goes. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. I'll see you tomorrow night at my normal time. We'll have something figured out what we're going to do. I hope, because I'll have some tape that I can play with. And we'll go from there. All right. Fair winds, tight lines. Let's go, Brandon. See ya.